Well, folks, did you see that yesterday where the government gave a directive to the police for them not to arrest and charge people for smoking dope? Well, by doing this, they have effectively decriminalised marijuana by the back door. So first we'll have a listen to Grant Robinson and then we'll go over to Michael Wood.
We'll need to put billions aside for drug rehab centres because you have overnight effectively decriminalised drugs.
Yes, effectively overnight.
We haven't decriminalised them because that would mean...
Yes, you have.
In changing the law to decriminalise them.
You have sent a message to the police that says what?
Actually, this is possibly the first time in my life I'll ever say this. I think Mark Richardson is right.
What?
It's only going to happen once, Duncan, so you've heard it here today.
I'm just going to time check that.
Yeah, exactly. Write it down now, which is that what we announced yesterday is that we are going to crack down harder on the people who supply. We've increased the penalties, we've made it easier to classify those drugs, but at the same time what we're saying to the police is keep doing what you're doing, which is actually not just arresting them and throwing them in jail, but directing them to some treatment facilities, making it a health...
But you are directing the police to do that now. This was unspoken before.
Exactly. The police have been doing it in practice. What we're now saying is that is the right approach. Let's get people treatment for what they need, but let's not give any space whatsoever to the dealers.
So let's not give any space to the dealers. But Mr. Robinson, when marijuana finally gets legalised, and it will, you will tax it, and we know you will, and then you will become the dealer yourself.
Okay, you have in effect decriminalised it for users.
Absolutely.
Because the police... No, I don't believe that, because the police under law still have the ability to arrest, and what we announced yesterday was that if they believe it's in the public interest to arrest somebody, put them in jail as a result of their use, then they'll...
Their judgment.
So it's their judgment. Put them in jail for their use. Well, Mr. Robinson, alcohol is a legal product, and presently the police arrest a lot of people who abuse alcohol and lock them up. So what you're proposing is exactly the same.
The time you were here was at the time before I asked you whether you would vote for decriminalisation of cannabis, and I think you sat on the fence from memory. I may be wrong on that, but no, I'm pretty sure you sat on the fence. So what's your position now?
Oh, no, what I said last time, what I would say again, is that I've got an open mind. I'm increasingly persuaded by the evidence, however, that it's better to take a health-based approach.
It's better to take a health-based approach. So what you're saying, Mr. Wood, is this. You are saying that marijuana is unhealthy, yet here you are wanting to push it on people. You want to legalise it in about a year or so. So, Mr. Wood, marijuana can either be good or bad. It cannot be both.
Not to criminalise.
Okay, because this is a directive also to all your MPs during this referendum as well to vote for decriminalisation, because your government has said so.
It's not up to our MPs to vote. It'll be up to the people of New Zealand.
Of course, but you'll have the vote,
and we'll have the vote, and the people of New Zealand will decide that. And MPs will have different positions on this, even within the same parties. It's fair to say it's a conscience issue. But I'm increasingly persuaded. I look at the evidence around the world, and if you want to reduce the harms around drug use, our current approach does not work, and the evidence is out there on the streets.
The current approach. Something different. But the current approach, and Judith, I want your way in here as well, but the current approach is you need to fund massively new beds and rehab centres.
That's in this package as well.
Is it really 16 million? That's nothing.
Additional money in this package.
Nothing, Michael.
Yeah, and there'll be more to come. But we've got additional money in this package to give that support.
But how do you force people to take up rehab unless they, one, want to do it, and two, and are prepared to actually say, I've got a problem? And as we know, quite a few people who use recreational drugs are not addicts.
A lot more than quite a few. I would say most.
The police have said they're not addicts, they're people who want to use recreational drugs on an occasional basis. So what are you supposed to do there? I suppose, give them a little pamphlet? What if they say, no, I'm not going to the police station, I don't have to go, no, I don't need to take your pamphlet, you can't arrest me? These are some of the issues. It's all very well to expect the police to be the social workers and the mental health workers, but that's not their job.
And she's absolutely right, it's not their job. But folks, this is why she should be the leader of the National Party. She is very clear in when she speaks. She's absolutely clear. Simon Bridges simply cannot do that.